If you get in my basket, we'll go get breakfast. Planted a bunch of blueberries up here, and we mulched half of them. The other half, Chef and I got put in the ground yesterday, about 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go up here and water them real heavy, and then they're gonna come in with the tractor, put the mulch in, and then rake it into place. So we'll just go up here and see what it looks like this morning. Here you can see where the wood chips has been put in, raked into place. These 6 or 7 on the end down here are new ones we put in. Ground's real heavy. We had them in the ground last year. We put 5 in, and I thought they actually died. I almost actually mowed over them and just said, oh, they're dead, fuck it. But they came in this year and actually produced more blueberries than the ones in the row house did. So we've taken the ones out of the row house and started to put them in the ground here. And we put 27 more in the ground. And I've still got another probably 50 or so to get planted in. So water point's over here. It's far enough that we have to use 2 100-foot hose sections. So you can see where the mulch ends. I'm going to come down here with the hose to the bottom and then just work my way back up. I'm just going to water them in really well. And there's a lot of dirt. We dug it up 2 days ago with the excavator, and I think I made the mistake the first time of making the holes too big. So when we put the dirt back in, it would kind of hold water in that big ass hole and make kind of like quicksand. So I made the holes a lot smaller this time, but the ground is just super, super hard. And we don't really know what it's going to do in some of them, because a lot of them, towards the bottom here, it's all this slate. So you always hear plants will break up, you know, rock and move around them, and the roots will go down and find the nutrients it needs. But I don't know. We might have every other one of these, or some of them, every other hole or so had that big, a lot of rock and slate in it. So we're just going to put them in, see what they do over the next year or so. We're going to wood chip them super heavy so we don't have to mow from here to the fence, so the grass and the weeds don't come up. We're just going to keep heavy wood chips on them. We're going to come back, you know, 6-12 inches around the plant and pull the wood chips back. And that way it'll just hold humidity and moisture. And these ones down here get a little more shade than these ones up here do, so we'll see what kind of difference that makes. But we've got a lot more to plant, and I'm not sure where we're going to put them. We might butt them up against the tree line here. They're supposed to like acidic soil, so everybody always says pine needles. Well, we've got pine trees growing here, so in theory that soil might be better over there than it is over on this side, but we'll see. So 200 feet of hose wasn't quite enough, but we'll get the water too here, and then we'll stage some more hoses with some quick clips so we don't have to drag hose. We'll just attach hoses at the points we need them. And I've often thought we should run a water line down here. The water main comes on the property behind that little fruit tree on the other side of the driveway there. So we should probably put a water point down on this side anyways. There's not one. The nearest water point on the property here is actually all the way up there on the building. So when we do give supplemental water to these fruit trees on the driveway, we drag 300 feet of hose from way over there. But this stuff here, it's just, we were chopping it up with a shovel, but man, by the time we got these in and put all the dirt back in place with shovels and busted up enough dirt to get it in place, man, we were just fucking done last night. I was not going to do this at all. And about 6 o'clock, Chef was going to go home, and he's like, let's go get those blueberries in. And I said, man, let's just do it in the morning when it's cool. He said, no, let's go get them in so we can do other shit tomorrow. And he actually pushed me. I was going to slack, and he actually motivated me to get this done. And he actually, truth be told, he did more of the labor on it than I did probably. So, win, and paid off. They're in the ground. The hard part's done. The rest of it's tractors, and then just moving mulch around with shovels. So, well, hard rakes and shovels. And we'll bring a few dudes out here first thing this morning while we're still in the shade. And probably an hour and a half worth of work, get this all in place, and we'll be done with it. And this is a pretty good example of the hard clay. This red chert like clay. This whole place was a gravel pit years and years ago before they built the nightclub here. And then when we came on the property, this was all just this rock like this. It was rock and baked clay. And the only thing that would grow here was pine trees and a few certain kinds of weeds like those, whatever that little plant up against the tree line there is. It grows real well here, and it'll grow through rock and nothing. So with the excavator, we turned all this shit over. We brought in all kinds of topsoil and just kept dumping wood chips and grass clippings and wood chips and grass clippings and more dirt out of the forest. And we would actually go out in the tree line, and I'd have 10 dudes out in the tree line just raking up leaves. Every fall, we would just rake leaves and bring trailers and trailer loads, multiple trailer loads full of leaves over here. Lay them out on the ground, sprinkle soil on top of them, and just let them rot, and then put more wood chips when we started getting wood chips. And before you know it, the grass started to grow. We seeded this really heavy in several types of grass, and red clover, and white clover, and white wheat, I think it was white wheat we had. And the idea with the wheat was the wheat would grow really fast and get down in the soil, because we would put the wheat and shit down, then we'd sprinkle a little soil over it. And we just used a drag behind chain rake on a 4-wheeler and a spreader, a drive behind spreader, seed spreader, and we put all that shit down, and the wheat grew really fast and kind of held the other seed in place. And then when the wheat ran its course and died, or would die out, the other seed would get some light, and it would kind of come up. And it worked. We probably did some things backwards. We were listening to a lot of different people, watching a lot of shit on the internet. And the big thing was just to do something. We had to do something, otherwise we were just never going to do anything. And it might not have been the right thing to do, but it worked. There might be shit that worked better, but it worked. And as you see, it's working now. There's grass here. You can see where we had the excavator planted it down to dig each of these holes, and the tracks scalped up the grass. And you can see there's really no nutrients down there. There's no black soil. This is just chalky, dry dirt. But within a couple rains, the grass will grow back in there. And then the wood chips here. We might wood chip the whole thing, but where you have wood chips, you won't have any grass for a couple of years, typically. You won't have any weeds, you won't have to mow or anything. But I want grass through here. I just like the way it looks. And we're going to just keep planting stuff. Everything we plant will produce something. So we're going to put a lot more fruit trees in. And we're going to dig some more holes. And every day, my goal was to set, a dozen of these blueberries. And we've well beat that. Now the question is just where we're going to put the rest of them. But I think on the whole inside of this fence line here and the whole inside of the driveway, every 20 feet we're going to put a fruit tree in. I've still got some more fruit trees in the back in pots, and we're going to get some more and bring them in and get them in place. And just everything on the property, I want to produce something or support something else.